Okay, here we go. Hello. I'm making this video because what I see about Sanders on YouTube and in the news doesn't satisfy me. I don't believe he's going to win no matter what he does. I think the Democratic Party is going to lose anyway, no matter who they pick, because they are the left wing of the Republican Party and they are not for what they say they are for. But anyway, let me get to the reasons why I feel Sanders is not going to win. Okay? First off, how do you control a nation? Huh? How do you control a nation? And I ask this question because I believe the U.S. is a puppet nation. It's controlled. We believe we have a democratic system in place, but we don't. We go elect a president and all that, but it's like a beauty contest, you know. The president is there. He's the face that we see, but he's not really the power behind the throne. You know, he's just the face. And like on the last elections where Trump won, it was all set up for Hillary to win. It was all set up. They got Sanders out of the way. Hillary was the candidate. She absolutely belonged to the right. And Trump was the candidate for the Republicans. Why? Because it was guaranteed that he would lose. Or so they thought. And he was as disagreeable as he could. I mean, he was a conflicting person. He was not the kind of person that anyone would want to vote for. Hillary was the candidate, and he was just for show. Well, Hillary was such a bad candidate that Trump won. Even Trump didn't believe it. Even Trump didn't believe it. But he wasn't supposed to win. Hillary was supposed to win. It was all a setup. If you look at it, you will be able to see how they put a candidate that sounds like shit and a candidate that sounds like the best, like when Romney ran against Obama. I mean, Romney was really hateful. He was a really bad candidate. And that's how they set up the elections in the United States. But how do you control a nation? Well, to begin with, you destroy the education system. You make sure it doesn't work. That way the people won't learn how to think. They won't acquire the tools that let them think rationally, to be logical. You destroy the education system so that when kids graduate, they don't really know how to read or write. They don't understand what they're reading, you know. And if they decide to go to college, well, they have to pay a whole bunch of money and become slaves, indentured slaves. And that they will carry for the rest of their lives. What else do you do? Well, you create fear. Fear is a great tool for controlling people. When a person, when he's afraid, the mind doesn't work correctly. It doesn't work. And you look for a way to get away from your fear. You want a hero to save you. And that's where, you know, like Trump comes in. He's the hero. He will save you from your fears. And what kind of fears do we have? Or you might say that you don't feel fear. You do. Because fear hides in you. It's in the back of your mind. You don't think about it, you don't feel it, but it's there. And what do you fear? Because you must fear things other than the despot that's in charge. Okay? You fear criminals. When I came here to Georgia, I mean, you know, I live in a lower middle class neighborhood, and went to the meetings, and people were afraid of crime, and they would talk so much about crime. And I've been here close to a year when I went to those meetings, and I was wondering what they were talking about. What crime? Where's the crime? And I haven't seen crime here in this neighborhood. I've seen kids playing football, and that's what I expect to see in a neighborhood like this. I mean, I expect to see the kids in the street playing and shit. I don't expect, you know, there was no crime. Once in a blue moon, you heard a shot in the distance. Somebody shot a gun in the distance. No crime. Sometimes I forget to close the main door of my house. I forget. I don't lock my car. don't know what they were talking about, but they were afraid of crime. You fear terrorists. You never know when a terrorist is going to strike. I mean, you could be standing in a park and they will come in with shooting people and doing the things they do. You fear terrorists. You see terrorists all over the place. Some people are really afraid of terrorists. I mean, if they even suspect there's a terrorist, then they start running, they panic. You know, we do fear terrorists. We fear the police, unless you're white. But you should fear the police even if you're white, because they don't talk to you about the white victims, but they are white victims. It's like the Native Americans. You don't hear what the police do to Native Americans because Native Americans are not the target. You only hear mostly what they do to black people and Hispanics, you know, minorities, but mostly black people, to generate fear. Fear is a horrible thing, you know, and you might not feel it, but when I'm driving around and the police car is behind me and it turns on those lights, my blood turns cold. It does, because I don't know what's going to happen. I feel fear too. Fear of losing everything. Losing everything. If you get sick, you screw. Because you could lose everything you got because you got sick. So fear is a great weapon for controlling a nation, because people don't think straight. Don't think straight when they are full of fear. And that's why they go to vote for people who are their enemies, really. You know, a politician who is attacking social security system. How could he get re-elected? Well, he does. Trump, he talks about what he does to women, you know. He grabs them by the, you know. And women still vote for him. They love him. Why? Because he's the hero. He keeps them safe from the terrorists. And you wonder why we spend so much money in the military? But that's the reason. Fear. We are afraid. We don't question it. We don't question anything, because these are the people who are going to protect us from the terrorists, from the fear, the things we fear, from the criminals, and all that. But they are the very ones who are destroying the nation. Something else you do? You change the language a little bit, you know, so people can talk to each other, so they don't know what they're talking about. Socialism is a special word that fits into that stuff, you know. And most people don't know what socialism is. I remember when I went to school, socialism was clearly defined. It was an economical system where everything belonged to the people, and they managed everything through the government, and the wealth was divided equally among the people. That was socialism, an economical system, not a political system. Socialism was tied to communism, but it wasn't communism. Okay, because communism is a political system. Same with capitalism. Capitalism was an economical system tied to democracy. One is an economical system, the other one is a political system. But today, socialism is anything that favors the people. Anything. Social security is socialism. Free education, socialism. Healthcare is socialism. And we have to fear socialism. We have to fear socialism. That's what we were taught. I remember when I was in school, you know, socialism, communism, evil. Even today, the bound. I mean, you see what's happening in Venezuela is evil socialism. See, and we are afraid of it, and we fear again. You know, are we going to become a socialist nation? Are we going to become Venezuela? And Sanders, and here we come to the main theme. Sanders, why Sanders will not win? He can't. He'll never make it. Sanders won't win because he himself defined himself as a socialist. Now he says he's a socialist Democrat. Well, there's plenty of videos where he says he's a socialist. He's a socialist. And even though what he says in all those videos is true, I mean, you know, you could criticize Castro for this and that, but he did do good things. He did do good things, like the education system. Medicine in Cuba is way ahead of us. I mean, our mediocre, less than mediocre medical system, expensive as hell, doesn't compare with the one they got over there. I know I went there to get treatment because I can't get treatment here, even though I got Humana and the Veterans Administration. I'm still sick because I couldn't stay in Cuba long enough to get my situation solved. I had to leave because the medical system here doesn't work. It's a piece of shit. But anyway, Sanders declares himself a socialist. People fear socialism. We are told that on Super Tuesday, he fell behind because Biden was backed by everybody that was dropping out. And because there was a campaign against Sanders. That's not true. He fell behind because people are afraid of socialism, and Sanders is a socialist. That's why he fell behind. Because when you go to vote, I mean, you know, you go into the cabin, the place where you vote, and you're sure you're going to vote for Sanders because you want, you know, what you call it, M4A, Medicare for all. You want that. You want to eliminate the debt so your son won't have to carry that weight on him for the rest of his life. You want things to get better because the U.S. has gone to shit. You want that. But the only candidate that offers you that is a socialist. So you go in to vote and you're going to vote for Sanders. You get, in Spanish we call a frío olímpico. It's the moment of fear when you are going to go into a challenge and you fear you're going to lose. And you go there to vote and you have your hand over Sanders. You sure you're going to vote for Sanders, but he's a socialist. Boom, and you get that you vote to Biden. And Biden won. Biden won. Because that's the problem he has. Sanders, I mean. He's a socialist. And he doesn't clear that up. And he doesn't have to say he's a socialist. I mean, you know, there was a time, way back when I was in school in New York, in junior high, when I was taught that there was such a thing as the common good. You work for the common good. There's no mystery there, the common good. And you had common sense. You favor things because your common sense told you that it was good. And you went against something that your common sense tells you is bad. We had those two things. And at that time when I was in school in New York, when something happened and you had to go to the hospital, you didn't have to worry about having or not having a Social Security a health plan, because the hospital would take care of you and it wouldn't break you. I don't think my parents paid for my treatments when I went to the hospital. And when my father went to the hospital, we were low middle class at that time, really low middle class. And yet we could go to the hospital without a problem. We were not a socialist country. We were not. I went to school in New York and never had to pay a penny. And they wanted me in specialized colleges because I was a painter. I could paint. I was an artist. I didn't have to worry about money. And we were not a socialist country. We were a country that believed in the common good and common sense. So somehow we move away from that, and now the common good is socialism. And Sanders could clear that up if he wanted to. But I don't even think he wants to win. He wants to be a socialist. He's a fanatic. A socialist. What a piece of shit. I plan to vote for him, but I think he's a piece of shit. He's a fanatic. He's a fanatic. But Trump is worse. And there is hope with Sanders. Things could turn out better. He won't be president forever if he wins. But he won't win, but if he did, miracles happen. Trump won. That was, that was a counter miracle. Anyway, he could clear that up. He could stand back and say, look, healthcare for all is not socialism. It's common sense. It's for the common good, not socialism. Unless we were a socialist nation back in the 60s, and we were not. Let's not be confused. Let's define things correctly. What is socialism? What is a socialist? We are a democratic nation, a capitalist nation, but we live by common sense and for the common good. He could clear that up. He could, if he wanted to. I don't think he wants to. He don't even want to attack his opponents. Biden is beating him, and he's not doing anything. Warren is stabbing him in the back. What does he do? He calls her his friend. She is his friend. And she just dropped out. Yesterday, I think it was, she dropped out. She's not backing him. In the end, she's going to back Biden because she is not his friend. She's a backstabber. I don't like her. Every time I see her on TV, I don't like that woman. I don't. I like Jill Stein, though. And she's running for president in this next election. I might vote for her if Sanders is not on the ballot. But if she isn't, I will write Sanders' name down. But know that he is not going to win, because if by a miracle people realize that Biden is mentally ill and he can't do the job and he can't confront anybody because the guy is sick. When they finally realize he's sick, if they admit it, and he's eliminated, the only guy that will be left will be Sanders. So by a miracle, he might get the nomination. But when he goes to run for president against Trump is not going to forget anything about Sanders. I mean, he's going to come out full blast about how Sanders is a socialist and a communist, and how he favors communist regimes and he favors socialist regimes like Venezuela and all that, and he's a Castro man and whatnot. That's what he's going to get hit with, and God knows what else. I mean, if he doesn't clear that up right now, he's going nowhere. He's going. I've been saying before the primaries, I've been saying that Trump is going to win the next elections. I feel sure of it. Why? Because all Trump has to do to win the next election is to repeat the same states he won the last time. Hillary beat the heck out of him in terms of votes, but the few states he won gave him the victory he needed. And all he has to do is repeat. His opponent could get a lot of votes in the same places Hillary did. But if Trump wins in those states, he's going to stay. And there are people who are satisfied with Trump. I don't think he has lost backing. I think he has gained backing. But Sanders, if Jesus came down from heaven, put his hands on Sanders and say, Sanders, you are the man. In front of everybody, they take Jesus and they hang him. And that'll be that. God, he's not going away. And Biden said he's a Zionist. He's not a Jew, but he's a Zionist. Could you imagine somebody saying something so horrible? You know, he's a Zionist. And he's running for president. If Israel owns the U.S., because it does, because when Israel is the tail that wags the dog, and the dog is the U.S. Okay, Israel has control. I don't know if it's because they blackmail the presidents and the politicians into succumbing to whatever they want. Probably is. You know, they learn from Hoover in the FBI. You know, you know, do you want a president that's on his knees before a destructive nation like Israel? I don't know. People are crazy. They certainly are. But you can't blame the people because they have no leaders. And they are being attacked continuously. Fear is a harsh enemy. Fear destroys the mind. Anyway, that was all I wanted to say, and I just hope you listen to me. That's all. Thank you. See you around.